This is the Glass Cannon Network.
Here we are. Welcome back to the Game Garage, a show where we play tabletop role-playing games. I am your game master and host. My name is Jared Logan, and with me I have three gifted actors and improvisers. Please welcome here to the Game Garage, Mary Lou, Zach Reino, and Edgar Blackmon. How's it going, guys?
So
Pretty good.
Great. Yeah. Sorry, I came in way too hot. Pretty good. It's pretty good, Jared.
Pretty good.
Don't come in too hot now.
So
Don't
excited.
be too enthusiastic. Today,
super cool.
We are playing. I have to talk about the game we're playing. Today we are playing Worlds Without Number. Can everybody see that? Worlds Without Number. This is a fantastic role-playing game from the designer Kevin Crawford and his company Cine Nomine Publishing. I hope I pronounced that right, Kevin. It is an amazing fantasy game where it's a fantasy. You can do dungeon crawls with it. But it's got a little different flavor than maybe your Pathfinder or your D&D 5e. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But first I want to ask, what's everybody's favorite fantasy thing? That's my icebreaker question. Mary Lou, what fantasy stuff do you like?
Okay, so my absolute favorite thing is just like anything with a dragon and a really like kind of noble horse. I was really...
You like a noble horse.
Yeah, so I grew up like unicorns. You know what I mean? Like that was my gateway drug into fantasy was unicorns and all of those series. And then it was dragons and any kind of dragons. So it's really all about the classic stuff for me.
Okay, so you really love Shadowfax, the king of horses.
He's the king of all horses, like
from the Lord of the Rings.
Of course, I love him. That's a crazy thing to say. He's my king. I honor my liege. But yeah, that culminated in my top thing is probably Wheel of Time. That's my one of my.
Oh
top.
right, yeah, you're a Wheel of Time. Wait, what do Wheel of Time fans call a wheelie? Okay,
I don't think so. Actually, I think somebody's trying to start that. I saw it on Twitter, and I think it's wheelie. We're wheelies, I guess.
Let's get it going. Wheelies. Hashtag wheelies.
Hashtag wheelies.
All right. Same question to you, Zach. What's your fantasy catnip? I don't like how I asked that question, but still, what is your favorite fantasy thing?
What does that mean, what you just said? What's your fantasy catnip?
What's the thing that gets you all excited and makes you kind of...
What is catnip fantasy to me? Okay, yes. Got it. Understand.
What part of fantasy
I thought there was catnip? A comma there, like, what's your fantasy? Would it be to have catnip? And I was like, no, Jared, it would not.
Or maybe I'm calling
maybe that's
you...
just like a fun nickname. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe my nickname for you is catnip.
I mean, I will say this. If there, and I'm sure it exists because they all exist, but like a fantasy series in which, like a Redwall, but they're all cats. My mom was reading a series of books called The Warriors, which was not fantasy, but it was like they were cats and the cats were the heroes and the cats went on adventures. Yeah. So, you know, anything with sort of like anthropomorphic animals, that's going to be huge for me. I really devoured Harry Potter as it was coming out. Yeah. That's embarrassing to say now for obvious reasons. But we didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't know
that J.K. Rowling was
going to make a hard turn to be a villain and just double down and deeply suck. But the books I really enjoyed. And I played Dungeons and Dragons growing up. I love any sort of... I love all of those trashy anime shows where the hero is like invincible from minute one of the first episode and spends the whole series just like trying to open a tea shop. Like that's all very good for me.
Yeah. I love anime too. This game has a little bit of an anime vibe in that it's weird. It's just a weird...
So weird.
A weird setting. All right. Edgar, it's the question to you now. What's your favorite fantasy thing?
Well, let's stay with anime, and I'll say Naruto is my favorite fantasy thing. I just adored superpowered children.
Naruto is
X-Men
like
fan
it's
as a
like
kid,
Harry
and, like-
Potter for ninjas, right?
Yeah.
close
and
enough, yeah.
And the same way, it's like the main character like doesn't know his own strength, but is like secretly the most powerful character to ever be created. And spends
Did you watch
the entire
Demon Slayer?
series. Yes.
Demon Slayer
I love Demon
also
Slayer.
great.
It's so great. But it's like also the same thing, right? It's like, oh, if he only knew
He's the only one
how
who could do
talented
this.
he really was.
It's got
But
that
he's
anime
also
thing where the
such a great
power
guy.
keeps power keeps scaling up, and the villains
Yes.
keep getting more and more powerful.
It's extremely that.
Yes.
But also Naruto is great because like they'll be like mission, learning to be a ninja, and then you'll get a fun like school competition, and then they'll be like, we honestly just want to eat ramen every day. That's all
Yes.
like I want to do.
Absolutely. And it's like just like in the X-Men, the abilities are just like, it must be just a room of people being like, all right, what if this guy is filled with bugs? I don't know, man. This guy's filled with bugs. That's it.
Filled with bugs.
And his whole family, everybody's
Run
filled
with
with
that.
bugs.
I feel bad
Run
for
with
the
that.
Bug Family guys.
Put it on the list.
Is that really a thing in Naruto?
Yes,
a
there's
guy
a
filled
really
with
in
bugs?
Naruto. Yeah.
And his squad is like, one of them's like, my thing, wolves. And everyone's like, awesome, wolves. And another guy's like, my thing, shadows. Cool, we love you, Shadow. Like, Secret of the Shadow is like, guys, I'm also here, and it's all bugs all the time. And it's like, I guess
All bugs all the way down.
It's bugs on bugs on bugs on bugs on bugs. Like,
Why would they hang out with him? I don't want
their
cockroaches in my
families
life.
have been friends for generations. Dude.
Generations. Listen, everyone's got a weird thing, and his thing is that he's filled with bugs.
He's nasty for those bugs, and he loves it.
He
And
loves
they
those
love
bugs. Loves those
And they love
bugs. He does.
him.
I'm writing down "filled with bugs" just to see if I can get it into the
Are we gonna
adventure
see that in
somehow.
episode
Can't
5?
do this, Jared. You can't. It's not Call of Cthulhu. As much as you want it to be Call of Cthulhu, this game is not that.
I do love Call of Cthulhu, but today we are playing Worlds Without Number, and I think I should tell you a little bit about how this game is different from Pathfinder, D&D 5e, your normal dungeon crawl kind of a game. So first of all, it is based on a different kind of literature. Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder, they have elves, they have dwarves, very much inspired by Tolkien. I love my Tolkien, but this game, Worlds Without Number, is based on some of the things that sort of inspired D&D, some of the fantasy that was around in the 60s and the 70s. So we're talking about authors like Jack Vance and his Dying Earth series. We're talking about my favorite, Michael Moorcock and his Elric series. Look at how badass
That's awesome.
warrior is. And guys like Fritz Lieber and his Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser series. So these books, they didn't have elves and dwarves. They were a little less like epics, like The Lord of the Rings is. And they were a little more focused on just the weird. There was less world building, and there was more just like a psychedelic experience. There's a lot of mind-bending stuff in these books.
Less
and
world building, more weird building.
more weird building. Thank you. I should, and please trademark that saying.
Hashtag weird building.
Less world building, more weird building. And so it's a little different, but you'll find all of these books in the Appendix N of Dungeons and Dragons. Appendix N being this list that Gary Gygax compiled that said, oh, these are all the books I read that inspired this game. So you'll find all of those books there. Now, these books are from the 60s and 70s, early 80s, and the rule set, Worlds Without Number, is sort of inspired by the Dungeons and Dragons of that period of the 70s and early 80s, specifically what's called BX D&D or Basic Expert D&D. Let me just say, that means, and the players, you guys need to keep this in mind, it's way more lethal. This Dungeons and Dragons type is way more lethal. I feel like if you play Pathfinder or D&D 5e, your character has a lot of hit points. They're pretty tough, especially if you get up to level 5. In this game, you might start the game at level 1 with 2 hit points. That could happen to you. But part of the fun of this game...
It won't be lethal if you don't attack us, Jared.
Right, exactly. Well, part of the fun of this game is you'd be like, maybe somebody in the audience would go, well, why would I play that? Well, this game, I think this type of play emphasizes strategy a little more instead of combat and combat simulation. So I love a big, long Pathfinder combat. They're super fun. This game focuses a little bit more on exploration, maybe using your wisdom to avoid fights sometimes, and figuring out the secrets.
Pathfinder, a little more peace finder. I'm gonna do this all
Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Less world building, more weird building. Less Pathfinder, more peace finder.
Okay, loving this. Loving this.
So with that big spiel out of the way, let's get into it with some character creation.
It's my favorite part of any game.
Yeah.
Have I been dreaming about this for a week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm coming in with like a loose idea, and I'm very excited to like where the corners are going to end up.
Yes. I can't wait to find out too. So we talked a little bit. Everybody's sort of chosen their basic concept and their class, more or less. So, Mary Lou, you were the first to respond that with what you wanted to play. So before you choose a class, though, in the character creation process, it wants you to roll or assign your attributes, and they are, the basic Pathfinder or D&D attributes: strength, dex, constitution is what con means, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Yeah.
Now, here is your choice. Okay, are you ready, Mary Lou?
Okay, yes.
And actually, everybody can do this. I don't know why I'm just focused on Mary Lou, but I'm gonna talk to her for right now.
I'm a star.
Yes, because you're a big shining star. So if Zach and Edgar want to do this at the same time, you certainly can. You can either choose to assign an array of attributes, meaning you put a 14, 12, 11, 10, 9, and a 7 anywhere you want them, or you can roll 3d6 for all of your attributes and take the number that you're given. If you do that, you can turn one of them into a 14, which is a +1 modifier score.
Question.
So, give me my question.
If you roll, are you rolling an array and then assigning them, or are you rolling whatever you roll for strength? That's your are you rolling in order?
You're rolling in order.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're rolling.
Because we have picked classes in advance, that is potentially a very, very bad idea.
Well, here's why it sort of can still work, because if you roll, you can turn one of them into a 14 automatically, which is a +1 modifier. And because this game is more based on, old classic 1980s D&D, the modifiers aren't as large as they were in, say, a modern version of the game. So a +1 is, let's see here, 14 through 17 is a +1, and an 18 is a +2. And then 8 through 13 is +0, and a 4 through 7 is a -1. So it's you don't get that like +3 or +4 that you might get in like a modern Pathfinder. It's so a +1 is pretty dang good. So you can change one of them into a 14. So let me ask Mary Lou first: are you going to be rolling or assigning an array?
All of my whole soul is telling me to assign an array, and that's why I'm gonna roll.
Okay.
Yeah,
because it's terrifying.
That's the Mary Lou I know.
Yeah, it's so scary. I love it.
So
Okay.
the advantage of rolling is you may end up with higher scores than you get in the array. Like you may end up with
You may. I didn't.
What's your strength?
My strength is a 6.
Okay. So that's very bad, but
That's very bad.
you're probably gonna
be
because
a
you're a
14.
warrior. You'll probably be turning that into. Oh, I'm sorry.
gonna
I
turn
just
that-
gave away your idea.
Son of a bitch.
I know. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
You may
I
be
am a
changing
warrior.
that later.
I am a warrior. I was probably just gonna say it right then anyway. Yeah, I'm a warrior for sure, and strength is super important for me. So probably not gonna stay a 6, but let's see. Okay, my dex is a 10. That's also not great, but not bad. Okay. Oh wow, Constitution is 13.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not great, but not bad. Intelligence is 10. Wisdom is 10. Just keep rolling 10s.
Okay.
Cautionary tale.
Charisma, I know, guys. Oh, wow. And then charisma is, what is 6 plus 2? 8.
Okay, so I mean, someone that
Your
knows about
zeros
dice
across the
probability
board.
curves will tell you that seems like a pretty down
pretty
the middle
average.
kind of roll. Yeah, pretty average roll. So are we going to be changing that strength to a 14? You get to change one to a.
100p. Yeah, 100p. That strength is going to be a 14. That seems just like an absolute total party kill waiting to happen if my strength is a 6. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I'm strength 14, dex 10, con 13, intelligence 10, wisdom 10, charisma 8, which actually feels great for who I thought I was. So.
Well, you don't have any negative modifiers, because
No.
everything is 8 to 13, right?
Yeah.
Your 14 gives you a +1, so make sure to record a +1 modifier beside your strength. And now
Got it.
let's ask Zach. Zach, are you going to be placing the array or rolling?
No, after what Mary Lou just did, could I possibly place an array? We have to roll.
Oh,
I don't know if that's the lesson you should have learned from what I just.
The lesson was a lesson of bravery, and if it goes very bad, it goes very. Here's the thing about my character that I'm sort of imagining: it doesn't matter. They could be very bad. That's okay. They'll just have to be very careful, which is what this game is about. Not
love
just
that.
running into whatever. So here we go.
Great.
Okay, strength.
I love
like-
that attitude.
This is great. Okay, so my strength is a 7. That's good. Excellent. That's a good first roll.
Okay.
Uh,
I love that you said good.
that's 11 for dexterity.
Okay.
That's a 9 for constitution. Here we go. That's a 14 for intelligence.
There you
Let's
go.
go.
And you're going to get to assign a 14 to something else. So
Yeah.
you've already
That's pretty
got.
great.
Yeah.
2 plus 1 modifier.
Holy shit! That's a 665. That's
17.
17.
That's a 17 for wisdom.
Wow, that's almost max.
Um,
Of course, with a 6 and a 6.
and that's an 11 for charisma.
Beautiful.
Nice.
So your 17 and your 14 are +1, and you can change something else into a 14.
Okay. I
That's
think.
really great.
Thank you. I feel pretty good about this.
Now we see how rolling can be advantageous.
I'm trying to think. I think it feels
Let
right.
that happen to you.
It feels right to keep that. Well, I have a negative though, right? I have my strength isn't a negative. Wait, anything below 8 is a negative?
That's right. You'll have a -1 in your strength.
Okay.
I would change that one.
I'm even though it is maybe not.
Oh,
What is it?
yeah.
Sorry,
you're-
here's the thing. I'll spoil it. I'm the mage. What do mages use for spellcasting in this game? Is it charisma or intelligence?
I believe. Wow, what a great question. Let me look that up. But I believe that it might be a little bit.
Different entirely.
It might be a little bit different entirely.
It's just
Exactly.
your magic skill or whatever.
Oh, it's your magic skill, and that does get an attribute. And let me see what attribute is connected to it. You do have a magic skill that you use.
I'm really happy for you, and I'm glad that something good happened to you, Zach. But I do wish it happened to me.
I wish it did too.
I'm just going to be totally honest.
Because my character is going to be holding over just like how, my character is an idiot. So the fact that he has this high intelligence score is it'll have to
maybe
be a
it's-
certain kind of smart. Don't worry about it.
Okay, yeah,
It's
you'll
gonna be
figure it
fine.
out.
But he doesn't fight, so we're still looking at an easy full party kill.
Great.
Well, don't worry. I mean, basically what I'm going to do is make sure that there are some backup characters in case that actually happens.
Okay.
Here we go. Magic skill. It says intellectual scholarly benefits. I don't know. I think it's intelligence. Let's just say that for now, and I will do a deep check on that in a little bit.
That's
that.
fine.
That makes sense.
I'm going to. I think I'll change my 7 to a 14.
Why not?
Because why not?
It feels safe.
That feels smart. So pretty strong for a
We have the
mage.
same strength score.
My character. I mean,
The mage and the warrior have the same strength score.
That's right.
Good. No, that's great.
Well, it just kind of points out how this game is sort of unfair, and we have to embrace that. In fact, when you are exploring
Life's
in
not
this
fair.
game, you will not always run into encounters that are catered to your level. You have to decide, wait, can we take these guys, or is this something that's like way out of our range of experience and martial might? And then you should run away or hide, and that is part of this game. Now I'm gonna,
Sounds kind of mean, but whatever.
it is kind of mean, isn't it? It is an unforgiving bastard of a game.
Oh, I love it.
These rules, and we need to embrace it and just get in the bastardy spirit of it. I'm going to turn to Edgar now. Edgar, are you going to take an array, or are you going to roll your attributes?
What a choice.
What a choice.
I don't even remember what the
choice.
array numbers were.
The
at
array
this
numbers
point.
aren't awesome. They're 14, 12, 11, 10, 9, and 7. So one negative
That's
1 and 1 plus 1.
Ah, babe, we're rolling.
Yeah,
How
we're
can
rolling.
I
got to
do
roll.
against the party?
Actually,
Let's go. Let's roll.
let's roll it. Let's roll it.
All right, here we go.
You
One
will
at a
not
time.
You will not hear my
actually
clickety
praying.
clacks because I'm using. You're like, there's no clickety clacks. Just remember that's fine.
Oh wait, sorry.
Thank you.
Can I just make a tweak real quick?
Of course.
In the spirit of Mary Lou being strong, I am keeping my 7
No.
in strength. I'm gonna take a 14 in Constitution.
Oh, smart.
Okay.
That's
You
going to
know
help
what?
with your hit points.
That's pretty cool.
All right, Edgar, what is your roll 3d6 for strength?
12.
12, not bad, not bad.
Did I
All
write
right.
that in my? All right, I gotta
Now-
remember these things. That's around. What was my name?
12 is great.
Yeah, be sure to
No,
record
12
it
is-
all on the sheet.
12 is powerful.
All right, what is your
Above average.
dexterity score?
10.
Okay, not bad. Constitution.
Getting scared.
No,
10's
no,
good.
no,
10's
no,
no negatives.
I
10's
smell
0.
fear. We are strong and we are brave.
Let's go. 14.
Hey, that's
There
a
you
plus
go.
1,
Constitution
baby.
of 14.
So
Great.
strong,
Natural
so
14.
powerful.
A big natty 14.
Big
And
natty
now intelligence.
Come on, baby. 11.
Okay.
If you could feel my heart beating right now.
I know.
This is why we
honestly, I'm
do
like,
it, though.
This is why
we
do
roll.
it.
Flop sweat.
It's just thumping.
This is
I'm
why we
like,
do it.
please.
This is
All
why
right.
we do it.
This
What's
one
your-
is a 9.
9,
Okay.
that's your
That's my
wisdom, right?
Wisdom is a 9.
That's still
Okay.
no negatives.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
kind of
baby.
amazing.
Okay, baby, come on. Do me
That's-
right. Okay, you did. That's it.
Oh.
An 8 for charisma. Okay. So you get to change one of those into a 14. You already have a 14, which gives you a +1 modifier on dice rolls related to your constitution. It also gives you a +1 to your hit points because it's your constitution, it's your health score. What are you going to turn into a 14? You kind of talked about being an assassin, right? Which I think translates in this game into the expert class, probably. Probably dexterity will be important to you, but it's up to you. Where do you want to put that free 14 that you got?
Okay, so I had this thought about this character, and I really wanted. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say all of like what my dream was about this character.
Okay.
But what I feel
love
like
secrets.
I need is more charisma.
Okay.
I think if that's what you feel, I think that's what you should do. Also, unless I am much mistaken, there is a part later in character creation where your attributes can change again, isn't there?
That is correct. That is
Okay.
right. There is a part, but you roll to do that. So
It's random again, but I
yes,
think
it's random again.
The dice have been fine to us so far. Pretty
Yeah,
good, actually. Above
not
average,
bad
I
at
would
all.
say.
Not bad at all.
Not a lot above average. We're
gonna actually-
above average.
We're going to get into the part you were just talking about right now, Zach, because we are now going to pick a background for each of our characters, and that is how you roll your skills. So, the backgrounds are basically who you were before you set off as an adventurer, and they are... I'm going to just say all of them for the audience. You guys should kind of pay attention and pick out the one that you think sort of fits you, because you'll be rolling on a skill table, or maybe you'll be choosing. You can also choose, just like with the attributes, skills based on who you were. So there's artisan, barbarian, carter, hauling goods or riding post, courtesan, criminal, hunter, laborer, merchant, noble, nomad, peasant, performer, physician, priest, sailor, scholar, slave, soldier, thug, and wanderer. Whew. Don't make me say all that again. Okay, so starting with Mary Lou, what do you think your background was? And I can get into them again if you need, no problem.
No, it's already pretty clear for me for my idea for my character, and I'm sorry if I'm stepping on anyone's, but I'm taking it first. Noble.
A noble, okay,
Yeah,
excellent.
I love
she was
that.
a noble.
So with the noble, you when you choose your background, you automatically get a free skill that it gives you. Now, in this game, this is how unforgiving this game is. When you get a skill, you'll see on your character sheet there's a little place where it lists all the skills.
Yeah.
The first time you get a skill, you get it at 0. That means when you roll the skill, you only add your attribute modifier that's attached to the skill. You don't get any +1s on the skill. If
Dang.
you keep improving the skill, you get a +1 and then maybe even a +2. So
Okay.
But what you'll do when you get a skill is just put a 0
Zero.
beside the skill. That
Right.
means you don't take a penalty when you use the skill. And the noble's free skill is called lead. So it's leadership.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you get
sorry.
Yeah, you're the party leader, Mary Lou. You just
Yeah, I'm
decided.
the leader. That's me.
Have we chosen the wrong leader?
Nope.
Correct. You absolutely have, but
Nope.
we'll deal with that.
I feel good about it.
We'll deal with
I
that.
can't wait to see your leadership in action. Morale building, team building exercises.
I'm great with morale.
Yeah, just inspiring speeches. Get ready. So you get lead at 0. Now, your choice is you can roll for additional skills or pick your skills. If you pick skills, you can choose 2 more skills from the learning table for your background. You cannot pick entries from the growth table. If you choose to roll for skills, you can roll up to 3 times, dividing up your rolls between the growth and learning tables as you wish. When you roll on the growth table, some results may say +2 physical or +2 mental, meaning you can add to your attributes as Zach was referring to. So, will you be rolling for skills or will you be choosing your skills? Let me just say,
Yeah.
if you want to be a good warrior and not just like a leader type,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I mean, you can still be a good warrior. If you choose the warrior class, you're still going to get that +1 attack bonus. You're still going to get some things that are going to improve your combat abilities.
Noble
but it's
does
up
not
to-
have any rolls that add to physical. It has
Yeah,
only
it's
the
all
only
mental.
you would have to roll a 1 on a d6 and be able to add to
Any
strength.
stat. Yeah, to strength.
So maybe
Yeah.
you should just choose. I don't know.
I'm just gonna choose.
Okay, great. So, you can only choose from the learning table, and you can choose 2. And I see that one of the options is any combat skill, so you could choose
Yeah.
melee or there.
Yeah. Yeah. So these are okay. Great. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, one of them's gonna be ride. That's
Oh,
very
great.
important to my character. We'll talk about this later.
Are horses becoming involved already, Mary?
Don't read into it. Don't read into it.
Okay,
it might be something that surprises you.
Okay.
Don't read into it. Ride.
I don't know how to read, so it's fine.
Ride is definitely one of them. And then I think to not be an idiot, I gotta do any combat. So yeah.
Right. And will that be melee?
That will be melee. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's called stab in this game, if I'm not mistaken.
That actually works really well for me. So
yeah.
No, I'm pretty happy with.
You stab people with things, if I'm not mistaken.
Amazing.
All right.
And those are both going to be 0.
And you're going to get, yes, they'll be at 0, meaning you're going to, anytime you roll a skill, you roll 2d6 against a difficulty. The difficulty is usually 8. Sometimes it might be lower, like 6 or higher, like 12.
Okay.
And you try to hit that, result or higher, that difficulty or higher. So when you roll a skill, you also add an attribute modifier. So, for example, your strength would matter with stab. So you'd get your +1 that you have in strength, and then you add the skill level. So if you got your combat skill up to +1, you'd be adding +1 for your attribute and then +1 for your skill to that 2d6 roll.
Amazing.
That's how skills work. Attack rolls work a little differently, and actually a stab skill would mostly be used for attacking, but occasionally there's this thing that happens. This is very important to keep in mind. This is a way you guys can strategize. There's a thing called an execution attack, where if you successfully sneak up on someone, instead of rolling a d20 against their armor class, you just roll against a difficulty with your skill. Like I just described with 2d6, and you can murder them like an assassin right there without having to knock down all of their hit points.
This all sounds like Edgar's job, if I'm being totally honest.
So I hope you were listening, buddy.
Edgar, I hope you understood that, because that was your job.
Okay, great.
All right, great. So that takes care of Mary Lou.
Yeah, I'm good.
Let's talk to Zach. Zach, what is your background going to be?
My background is artisan, because my mage is a failed blacksmith.
Great.
Love that.
Fantastic. That gives you the free skill of craft at 0.
And when I am filling out this sheet, quick question.
Yeah.
For the attributes, do I also put in the modifiers, or should the sheet do that by itself? Because I put them in.
I think you have to put them in.
Okay. With negatives and pluses and all that?
Yes, I think so. I mean, however it's easiest for you to remember with your notation, but +1 for like a 14 or above.
Got it.
Okay. Are you going to roll, or are you going to?
No,
are
I'm
you
going
to choose?
I rolled well. There's absolutely no way that luck will hold through this also thing. It doesn't say what attributes are used for what skills here.
It doesn't. So I think that gives me a little leeway as your game master, and I think that often it will be the thing that's the most obvious. So magic most obviously connects to intelligence. There's a lot of skills here, like connect, which is like finding contacts who can help you in a town or village or city. Convince, which is persuading people. These are all your choices for an artisan. You can take craft, exert, which exert is sort of important because it's like jumping, pushing things, climbing, doing things that are physically laborious.
I don't think I'm good at those.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is important, but I don't think I can do them.
Yeah. Know, which is just knowing things. Notice, sort of important. That's basically your perception skill that lets you find fine details in the environment. And trade allows you to make those fat stacks of cash while you're moving through these feudal monarchies.
Yeah, I'm going to take notice, and I'm going to take have all this wisdom. I'm trying to think of like how to incorporate that into the character.
Notice really helps with the wisdom. I mean, notice is connected to that for sure.
Okay, then great. Then that's that. And then I'll take... because trade is also knowing like the value of things, right?
Yeah.
With my background, I think that sort of makes sense, at least within my field. I'm gonna take notice and trade.
Okay, you get both of those at 0. And I like that he probably won't improve his craft because he was a failed blacksmith, right?
Yeah, he's tried to blacksmith, but because he is inherently magical, like it just doesn't work. Like the rules of that should like apply to blacksmithing get
Like
absolutely messed up when he tries to do it.
Like what? What happens? Like
Well, there's a subclass of mage called an elementalist, which is all about like the elements, and because he is new at that, it's like fire doesn't he heats things up when he's not supposed to, and like the metal, like the earth bends. Like if he figured it out, he could be a really good magical blacksmith, but in the early stages of knowing magic, it makes blacksmithing fucking impossible. Like, because that's
There's
part
an
of it.
unknown variable that's just like doing its own thing
Well,
at the same time.
Yeah, part of the lore of like, part of the reason that Worlds Without Number, sorry to step on like the lore of it, Jared, but like what's
Not at all.
interesting
Love
about this
lore.
game is that like of Worlds Without Number, the reason that there is like not a lot of scientists is because the world has been like broken and rebuilt and broken and rebuilt by so many like otherworldly powers and like aliens and stuff over time that the natural laws do not behave the way they are supposed to. Like
Right.
you can't build like an electrical machine because electricity does not, like the laws of physics are broken here, which is
Wrong.
why like blacksmithing is as far as we got, because it's like it's the only thing we can rely on is like the metal will probably be hard today.
Yes, it's called the Legacy, right? Like
The
at one
Legacy.
point, like these noble thought houses ruled the earth with
Yes.
psychic powers. Earlier than that, outsiders, which were like Cthulian entities, had enslaved all of humanity. There's just been many empires. It's called the Latter Earth, which means Earth has been through a lot of shit for
Been through a
tens of
lot.
thousands, millions of years. And it has left the legacy, which is there are so many maybe nanites in the air, or maybe reality has been kind of warped so many times that magic now works. Let us turn
And
to
science
Edgar.
doesn't.
And science doesn't.
I'm
That's
gonna
right.
change my mind again. I'm gonna take no instead of trade.
No instead of trade. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Cool.
That's good. Okay, you'll be able to like kind of just know things about history or geography, things about your environment. You'll just know things. All right, Edgar, turning to you. What is your background?
All right, so I just want you to know I'm in really deep waters right now, and I'm not sure what this means for me. So I'm just really going to lean on your expertise when I say that I am a wanderer.
A wanderer. I love that. Okay. So are you going to roll for skills, or are you going to choose them?
Okay, so I'm going to choose them because I think if I rolled them, I would only confuse myself more. So, yes, you.
Sorry. As a wanderer, you get survive automatically, and you get that at 0.
All right.
And now, my friend, you can look at the learning table here on page 17, and you can choose 2 from the learning table. A combat skill is probably a good idea, and that's one of the choices. And then the others are up to you.
Okay, so let's do any combat, but what are the combat skills?
Stab, shoot, and punch.
I like stab.
I like stab for
Oh,
you, too.
interesting. Okay, great. Take stab at 0. And then you get to choose one more from that learning table.
All right. I think what I will choose from the learning table is
Drum roll.
sneak.
Ooh,
Gotta
yeah.
take sneak.
You
That's a
gotta
great
take
one.
Gotta
sneak.
take sneak.
You gotta
gotta
have,
take sneak.
It's super important in these games that you have someone who can sneak.
Someone's got sneak. Mary Lou
Somebody's
and
gonna
I
sneak.
can tell you right now,
Ain't gonna
loud.
be me. I'm loud.
Mary Lou's on some sort of beast that she's
I've got a
riding
beast.
around.
Hashtag gotta sneak. Okay. We
Gotta
got it.
sneak.
So those are all your skills, Edgar, for your character.
And
And
they're all at 0.
they're all at 0, meaning you roll the 2d6 and you add only your attribute modifier if it applies. Do you have a dexterity of... no, you haven't added to dexterity, so your sneak right now would just be a 2d6 roll. But look at it this way. When you have the 0, you don't take the -1 modifier for not being trained in a skill.
Fantastic.
So now we are going to choose our classes. And the classes give us more benefits. Often they give us more skills. They decide our attack bonus and all kinds of important things like that. And I'm going to start in reverse order that I've been going this time and stick with Edgar here. Edgar, do you think that your character is an expert? I think he's not a mage or a warrior. We could have 2 warriors. Or there is the class called adventurer where you mix 2 classes together. So you could be like a warrior expert or a expert mage or something like that.
I think my character is an expert.
Okay, great.
Pure expert.
Pure. Unsullied expert.
Raw.
Undilute
expert.
raw. OG.
Organic.
100%. 100p.
Expert.
Expert.
100p.
Okay, great. So you start at level 1 and you get 1d6 hit points to start.
Now, does that mean in this horrible game that you actually roll that number?
That is correct.
Which means
That's
you could have
so
1 hit
evil.
point.
Yes, but I will point
Aim.
out that it looks like Edgar's character has a +1 in his constitution. So
You could be a big, strong person with 2 hit points.
yeah,
Okay.
or maybe
cool.
he'll roll a 6 and he'll have 7 hit
I
points.
think he'll roll a 6.
Okay.
Should we roll that now?
Yes. Allow me to.
I'm gonna throw up.
Please don't. It'll be gross to watch.
I'm gonna throw up.
3.
Okay.
3,
That's
and then add
3.
add 1 to it. So you have a big whopping 4 hit points.
You're basically
Okay.
immortal. You're basically going to
Hey.
live forever.
Listen, that's why that sneak's gonna come in so handy.
Yes.
So go ahead and give yourself a +0 in your attack bonus, and then you're going to get to pick 2 focuses. Focuses are like special abilities. They often give you a skill as well, an extra skill as well. 2 focuses. So go ahead and start looking through the focuses, but I just want to talk about your class abilities. This is something important to remember for your character. You have something called Masterful Expertise. Once per scene, the expert may re-roll any non-combat skill check as an instant action. This allows the expert to make a roll and then immediately use this ability if the resulting total isn't good enough to succeed. So if that sneak check fails, you can go Masterful Expertise and just roll it again.
All right.
You also have a class ability called Quick Learner. When you advance a character level, you gain an extra skill point. So you get very good at skills way more quickly than the other classes. We will talk about your focus picks in a minute. I'm going to let you look over those for a minute. Those start on page 22. And I'm going to ask Zach. We already gave it away. You're the mage,
I'm
right?
a mage, baby.
You're the
Are you full
mage.
mage? Full mage?
Yeah, I'm not going to do mage expert adventure. I'm going to just go full mage. I thought about it, and then I thought, in this campaign, are we going to get to the high levels of item crafting? Probably not. So I'm sticking with full mage.
Yeah, this is a 5-session
Full
campaign.
mage.
Really more 4 sessions because we're doing a lot of character creation this time. So the hit dice, the hit points for the mage are 1d6 -1.
That is
sounds
so
good.
evil.
No,
that
that's
is
good.
so evil.
No, it's really great. Okay, let's see what we get here.
Well, you have a +1 in your constitution, right?
That's a
Zach?
5, baby. So that's a constitution +1 -1 where it's 5. Yeah.
5 flat. You have 5. Yeah, nicely done.
Nice.
Big
That
strong
was an
man.
important roll.
Imagine being stoked to have 5 hit points.
I don't have to imagine it. I'm living it, baby.
Now, your class ability is your arcane tradition. You may pick one magical tradition to represent your occult powers. Let's get into that in a little bit. And you get 1 focus. So look over the focuses. Maybe you've already chosen your focus. I'm going to ask everybody about it in a minute. But right now, we're going to talk to Mary Lou about her warrior. Mary Lou, you get a ton of hit points. You get 1d6 plus 2 hit points.
Oh yeah, that's so much.
Ready to roll them now?
Yeah. Fucking. Okay, 4.
Plus 2. So
Plus 2,
6.
so 6.
Plus your constitution, unless you don't have a bonus.
Plus 0. Yeah, it's a 13.
You're
so.
still the strongest of all of us.
Ooh.
And
Or
you
at
start
least
with
the most vital.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you start with an attack bonus of plus 1, which is really important too.
Woo. Okay.
So make sure you put that in because the other characters had plus 0 attack bonus. And then you get 2 focus picks, one that's any focus pick and one that's specifically like a warrior focus pick.
Okay.
And your class abilities are as follows. You have one called Killing Blow. Whenever a warrior inflicts damage with any attack, spell or special ability, they may add half their character level rounded up to the damage done. This
So I can add
damage
plus
is
1
also
damage.
yes. This damage is also add to the shock damage. So this game is rough. So anytime you fight, even if you miss your attack bonus, if you're threatening someone with a sharp melee weapon of some sort, you automatically do something called shock damage. And all of the weapons have shock damage. So every time you engage with a foe or they engage with you, it works both ways. They do a little bit of damage just from kind of beating at you, even if they don't get a full hit. That's a very interesting wrinkle to this system. You also have a class ability called Veteran's Luck. Once per scene as an instant action, the warrior may turn a missed attack they have made into a hit. Alternately, they may turn a successful attack against them into a miss, also as an instant action. This ability is particularly lethal when used with the make a snap attack action. We'll get into that later. But you can turn a hit against you into a miss, or you can turn a miss against an enemy into a hit. And now I will go back to our friend Edgar and say, are you ready?
Oh, I am, but now I feel like I've mucked things up. So here are the foci that I would like to select.
Okay.
Assassin.
Uh-huh.
And diplomatic grace.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
That feels right.
Assassin, this is what Assassin gives you by choosing this focus, which are these special advantages for characters. You gain Sneak as a bonus skill. You can conceal an object no larger than a knife from anything less invasive than a strip search. Ooh, the game just got sexy. You can draw or produce this object as an on-turn action. And your point blank or thrown melee attacks made during a surprise round cannot miss the target. That's amazing. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff. But go ahead and take your sneak from 0 to +1.
Okay, there you go. I didn't muck it up.
No,
You
just got more and more powerful.
Yeah.
Yes, even sneakier.
Sneakier.
And let's look at Diplomatic Grace. Gain Convince as a bonus skill, so you get that at 0. You speak all the languages common to your region of the world and can learn new ones at a workable level in a week. Reroll 1s on any skill check related to negotiation or diplomacy. That's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Reroll 1,
that,
so it's not just a flat reroll, but it's a rerolling if you roll a 1. That's pretty good.
Sure.
And you got Convince at 0 now, so that's pretty great.
At 0, sneak at +1. I'm feeling dastardly.
Yes, I totally kind of get how this character is forming up. All right, let's turn to Zach. Zach.
Now, I'm a little bit confused about how the magic skill works. There does not seem to be any indicator of like how to raise it ever at all. Because none of the skills have it. None of the foci have it.
None of the foci have it. The backgrounds don't have it, but I think you get it with your arcane tradition. Your arcane tradition automatically comes with some magic skill.
Okay. I think based on what I'm sort of imagining here, I think I'm going to take armored magic. In this game, the sort of assumption is that like wearing heavy clothes gets in the way of channeling magic, but if this dude discovered magic while working like as a blacksmith, I think that would have been like, that's his training moon from Dragon Ball Z. Like that's just what he knows as normal. So
Rock
I think
Lee's
it's a
leg
great-
weights.
that's right.
I think it's a great choice, and it totally fits the concept. And it does something very simple. You can cast spells or use art while wearing armor that has an encumbrance value of no more than 2. You can use a shield while casting, provided your other hand is empty for gesturing. So no weapon in your hand, just a shield and some magic.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, great. And then that was the only focus you get, because your other thing is your arcane tradition, which we'll get into in a second. Mary Lou, what are your 2 focuses?
Okay. I think I have to choose writer based on my character.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
Are you sort of envisioning that we are going to spend a lot of time riding around in this campaign, Mary Lou?
No, but I did envision making Jared play as my noble steed.
Let me practice.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome.
Jared, that's so good.
Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's just like a character trait and not actually like something a part of like my
I don't mean to convince you away from it. You have the ride skill.
No,
I'm
yeah, I already
I'm worried
have
that
it.
you are crafting a character that is
that like
gonna,
won't be able to use these
will be
skills.
like,
Yeah.
can we go in this tavern? Actually, no. I have to
You
stay
have a
on this
horse.
horse.
Okay, then I have the other 2 because I didn't really want to choose writer because it didn't feel that useful.
Then don't do it.
I'm not going to choose writer. Okay, great. But just know that that's like in my heart.
You're gonna get more foci later.
Yeah.
And if that's
Oh,
not
really?
true, I actually don't know if that's true.
That is
but
true.
Pretend like it's true.
When you level up, and I think based on how the rules work, you level up from 1 to 2 pretty quickly. So
sick.
it's very likely we will level up in the course of these 5 episodes.
Probably we'll do character creation so well that we'll gain experience from that and level up.
Oh my God, totally right.
It's not impossible.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, that is impossible. Okay.
Well, this one is for sure. This is my character, and that's shocking assault.
Shocking assault.
Ooh.
That sounds
I-
really tough.
Yes, my character was born with age's natural not predilection but predisposition toward ultraviolence. Just really capable of incredible violence. Not a violent person, but capable of incredible violence. So shocking assault, I'm extremely dangerous to enemies around me. The ferocity of my melee attacks stress and distract enemies even when my blows don't draw blood.
And your allies, I would say. I can
Probably.
tell that's true.
I'm already.
And
I'm stressed out.
Good. I had already taken stab, but I'm thinking, I don't know, since Edgar's character has stab, I might want to go full into punch. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that a silly
if
move?
it gives you stab, you can level up stab and be very good at stab.
Yeah, you
No,
you
exactly.
go up to 1 in stab, which
No, that's what I mean. Would I go up? Should I go? I would either go up to 1 in stab or change my previous one to be punch and go up to 1 in punch.
I don't know. We got a noble that rides around on a horse, then gets off and punches people. I love it. Or
I could
we have
always
the
change
traditional.
my stab to shoot.
Well, I don't. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to make you do anything at all.
Oh,
also,
no.
you're good at stabbing. You're gonna go execute people for us.
As a party, we all.
I think if you picture your character holding a weapon, then I would go with stab. And if you picture them punching, then I would go with. I wouldn't worry about what everyone else is.
All right, I'm gonna go with stab. I just don't know what my weapon is yet, but we'll get there together.
Oh, we're gonna get into that. Also, your weapon treats all targets as if they are armor class 10, which is important to that shock damage I was talking about earlier. Shock damage always has a a minimum AC that you have to hit in order to do shock damage. You treat everybody like they're armor class 10 and do shock damage all the damn time. So that's really great. And
like
now that
that.
we have chosen our foci, I am going to take a short ad break. When we come back, we will finish character creation. You're watching the Game Garage here on the Glass Cannon Network. We'll be right back. We're back. with the Game Garage on the Glass Cannon Network, where we're playing Worlds Without Number, an incredible fantasy sandbox game from Kevin Crawford and Cine Nomine Publishing. And before we went to the break, I said that we had picked all of our focuses, but I was wrong. Mary Lou has one more focus to pick for her character. And Mary Lou, what will your second focus be?
It's going to be pretty simple because I scrapped Ryder, didn't feel right, and I already had Shocking Assault. And the thing is, I'm just going to choose it again. So there are 2 levels to Shocking Assault.
Shocking.
I'm just incredibly shocking
That
in
is-
my assault.
That's really shocking.
You're like the Spider-Man villain, the Shocker, in that you are shocking.
So shocking. Yeah.
I'm shocked that you're doing this. In
Yeah.
addition to the advantages you got from your level 1 Shocking Assault, you gain a +2 bonus to the shock damage rating of all melee weapons and unarmed attacks that do shock. As usual, regular hits never do less damage than this shock would do on a miss.
So even if I miss, I still do damage.
Yeah, and
Because
you
of the
pl-
shock. I do shock
You do
damage.
+2. You do +2 to whatever that damage is.
Now, the shock is like mental shock, right? It's not like
It's not like Pikachu.
it's like yeah. You're not the Pikachu of warrior of lords.
No,
It is
I'm
not
like,
electricity.
I'm like shocking and appalling. Sort of like that kind of shock.
Wild clothing choices.
I think it's just like, if someone's coming after you with a sword or a war hammer and you're like dodging it and like it's hitting your shield and it's scraping your shoulder, that's the damage we're talking about from shock damage. That even if they're not getting a direct hit, they are whittling away at you. There's attrition from just taking on someone with a melee weapon.
You could have stopped at someone is coming after you with a warhammer. I'd be dead. My heart would explode.
Right. For
I'd
you,
be
it
like
would
a
be
bird
mental
on the
damage.
4th of July. I'm just dead.
So I'll just say, like, it says focus picks +1 any and +1 warrior. Well, that fits.
Oh, yeah. Which ones are warrior?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and I think that definitely Shocking Assault is warrior.
Yeah.
And the
Feels
other one is
warrior.
any, so you're fine.
All right.
Let us talk to Zach about his arcane tradition and maybe the spells that you've chosen. So when you look at your arcane tradition, it should say that you get magic skill at level 0. I'm pretty damn sure that that's true.
You would think. Magic starts on like page 60, right?
It starts on page 60, and I think in the initial description of choosing an arcane tradition, it might tell you that you get that skill. But definitely your arcane tradition gives it to you.
Okay. I have chosen the arcane tradition of elementalist as sort of my thematically. This is not like a studied wizard. This is just someone that has control over Earth, Wind, and Fire, the band.
You're their manager.
I'm the manager of the band
They
Earth,
show
Wind, and
up.
Fire.
They're very skilled fighters.
There's a lot of them, and they niggle like that band is big. and
It's like
someone has
herding
to-
cats.
It's like
yeah.
herding very talented musical cats.
50
Oh, here
black
it
guys
is.
Show
So
up
there it
with
is.
trumpets.
Elementalist gain magic is a bonus skill acquiring it at level 0 or level 1 if it was already at level 0. But that's my question. How would it already be at anything other than that? Nothing gives magic in this game.
I don't know. I legit don't know.
Not that I've seen.
I guess if you picked like Xenoblooded or like
Right.
or one of the like divine origin things and you were like, my thing is magic. Can I do that? My class is
I'm
God
a god.
child.
I'm gonna go ahead and say you cannot do that, and we're gonna go with a full human lineup this time.
Great.
Because I
take
was too
magic
lazy to go off and design a bunch of Xenoblooded or alternate races, legacies. Although the book does give you some. The book gives you so much. I just want people to know out there. This
This
is a
is
thick book. You
detailed.
can design. Yeah, you can design your entire adventure and world with a series of roles, and it already gives you a default setting. So it's all in there. But great, so you get that magic skill, and then I believe since you're going full elementalist, right? Not partial.
That's right.
You get 4 spells. You can prepare 3 of them per day, but you can only, at level 1, you can only cast 1 per day.
Love it.
So have you, and you can choose, I believe, from the high magic and elementalist spell lists.
Yes, that is correct.
So what have you chosen?
Okay. Where do I put this on the character sheet? Oh, no, those are arts and this is high magic. Okay, great. So the first one that I chose, which I think is the only high magic spell I'm taking specifically because it feels like a funny blacksmith spell. The first one that I am choosing is called Ward Pact Invocation, which, if I understand it correctly, takes a weapon and makes it not work.
Oh, wow. Okay. Ward Pact Invocation.
And that is a high magic spell.
High magic, right. Okay.
Or it can take a person and make them basically immune to weapon damage. But you tell me if I'm understanding that correctly.
Well, I'd have to look it up. You say it's called War Pact Invocation?
Ward Pact Invocation. It's not in the element. It is in the high magic. Here, I'll read it. The spell may be cast in 2 different forms. If it targets a creature within 200 feet, the target becomes partially immune to physical weapons. Any weapon hit on them requires the attacker to make a successful physical save, or the hit is negated. Lasts for 1 round per caster level, blah, 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 blah. Notes. Can't target the caster. Okay, I can't do it to myself. Here's another one.
That's a great one. That's a great spell.
I intend to use it this way. If it targets a visible weapon within 200 feet, that weapon is rendered entirely harmless and unable to inflict damage for the rest of the scene. With no saving throw, the spell may only affect a given target or weapon once per scene. Natural body weapons aren't affected. So basically, I take my bad blacksmithing and be like, your sword is broken. It doesn't work no matter how many times you hit people with it.
That's amazing. And I'll just say, like, you know, you get less spells maybe, or you can cast them less times than in other modern dungeon crawl games, but these spells are a little more powerful. I think that's
the spells are wild.
That's totally OP, bro.
It's super OP, and I'm gonna totally abuse it until they change the meta. And then I'm gonna choose elementalist skills for the other ones. I'm gonna take flame scrying. Here's another reason that he couldn't blacksmith. Every time he was around a fire, he would hear all these voices in his head. And that's because flame scrying means that you can basically eavesdrop on anything within an open flame within 30 feet of you.
Oh, you can wait, anything that's within 30 feet?
The elementalist becomes aware of the approximate location of all open flames within 30 feet. They may choose one of these flames as a focus for the scrying, allowing them to see and hear everything going on there, which if you were trying to blacksmith would be extremely distracting.
Right, and it's 30 feet per caster level, so at level 2 it's 60 feet, I think, and level 3 it's 90 feet,
wow.
So that's pretty cool. All right, what else?
I'm going to take Elemental Favor. The Elementalist makes a direct appeal to non-magical earth, stone, water, or flame or air, no larger than a 10-foot cube. And at the end of the round, the mass will move or reshape itself within that space. So
awesome.
That rocks.
It does rock, and it can move rocks.
And you have one more spell.
I know, and I'll never use any of these because I only prepare 3 and I only cast 1. Let's take. Oh, it has to be level 1.
I will say in this game, because of how fragile your characters are, and because of how Zach needs to regenerate his spells every day, you may spend a little more time going, okay, we go in the dungeon, we explore a little bit, we get out,
we go
back the next day.
Listen, we're part-time. We go back to our jobs and our wives and our husbands.
And that's completely fine. That's part of the strategy.
Go back to my horse.
You should always be wondering, should we go a little farther or should we get out now?
I'm going to take Elemental Spy as my last one, which is basically you take You enchant a stone, ounce of liquid, flame no smaller than a candle, or a particular plume of smoke or incense. And for 1 day, as long as the charmed object is not destroyed, dispersed, or consumed, as a main action, I can see and listen to anything around the object as if I was standing there, which is almost exactly the same as the flame one, but it can be just like, that rock is my nanny cam now.
Right. And I think that we should refer to it as a nanny cam and use it that way, really.
Kitty butt. Which one that? That's Princess?
There are rules for hiring, helpers, and I think you guys should definitely grab a nanny. All right. So, and I just want to say, you also, with your arcane tradition, get arts. Arts are sort of powers that are always on, kind of.
They're like at will spells, right? Like you can use them with effort. I don't really understand effort super much, but it's like you get one spell a day, but arts you can use as long as you have. They like don't do as much. They're like minor stuff, right?
They're minor, and you
like
have to commit
cantrip.
effort to them. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So, for example, the two that you get, I believe, automatically are elemental resilience. You are unharmed by mundane extremes of cold or heat, less than that of a furnace. You suffer only half damage from magical or extremely intense flame or frost attacks. Pretty good.
I'm gonna
I think
walk into
that's
all
awesome.
sorts of fires and only taking half damage, but still dying
only
because I have
hurts a
5 hit points.
Yeah. And then elemental sparks, you can conjure petty amounts of flame, water, ice, stone, or wind sufficient to do small tricks, chill drinks, light candles, or do other minor things.
You can chill my drinks.
The book also specifically says, which is such a funny thing, that I feel like in Dungeons and Dragons, if you have prestidigitation, or what's the other one called? The one that
Thaumaturgy?
yes. There's like people are using it all the time to do crazy shit.
Yeah.
And this book is like, hey,
No.
elemental sparks. Only once per session can this skill be used to solve an actual problem of any kind. It's basically telling you like this is a skill that is meant to be useless.
And it does say that this art cannot actually be useful in solving a problem or overcoming a challenge more than once per game session.
So funny. They're
Game
like, hey,
session.
per game session, right? So like us meeting to play. They'd be like, this cool thing that like you want to do magic all the time. Guess what? You can, but it's all bullshit. None of it matters and doesn't do anything.
Zach, I really want you to try to use it more than once in a game session and see if you can slip it past me.
Okay.
Okay.
Challenge accepted.
And I'm going to be so proud if I go, I'm sorry, you've already used elemental sparks to solve a problem once per game session.
This is going to become a debate on whether or not we are solving a problem.
You're creating a problem, so go ahead. All right. Since we have all of that chosen, you can now pick one skill of your choice to reflect your hero's outside interests, natural talents,
Oh wait, I
hobby
get one more
expertise.
art, don't I? Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. What's you get to choose an art? Do you get 3 arts? I didn't realize.
I get those 2 that come with it, and I get a choice of 1, I believe.
Okay, great.
Let
Yes,
me
please go
double-check
ahead.
That is true.
You get a lot of stuff. That's awesome.
Level 1 arts gain, elemental resistance, elemental sparks, and anyone. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Here's my question. Will I be totally screwing us if I do not take one that does damage? Because right now I don't think I have anything that does damage of any kind.
Listen, the game is not all about combat. I want to stress the fact that, it's important to have some combat skill if you get into a tight spot, but it's okay not to focus on that and to figure out ways to explore or solve problems once per day if you're using elemental sparks. You can basically go another way if you'd like.
Okay.
You probably want one though, right? Like
Well, I've got the one that makes swords break.
Which one?
And that's useful.
that is useful.
Very useful.
I don't think, because there's one that's like elemental blast, which is like you throw magic. And I think at some point leveling up, I would take that eventually. But I
Yeah.
think what I'm actually going to take is flame sight, because again, it's funny.
Yeah.
Commit effort on turn while the effort is like inspiration, right? You're either using it or you're not.
Right.
And once you use
can
it, it's
only
gone.
basically only one of these I think can be turned on at a time because you've put your effort. I think your
Like
effort is
concentration.
And so, that's what I meant.
Yes.
Concentration. And some commit it for the day. Like once you use it, it's gone. Some
Yeah.
commit it for a turn. Some commit it for a scene.
Yeah.
I am going to take. No, I got a bunch of like spy stuff already.
Flame sight basically gives you dark vision.
It gives you it gives you eyes that are flashlights. It gives like light comes out of your eyes and illuminates things in
Flashlight
front
eyes.
of you. Flashlight eyes, and it lets you see in like thermal vision, which is
Right.
the dark side part of it. Like you see like, which is very cool.
It can help you detect creatures that give off a heat signature, which might not be immediately apparent.
Right.
Yeah,
Sneaky
it can do
little
things
boys.
like that. Yeah. But what? Do you have something else you prefer?
No, the other one I was thinking of was Rune of Destruction, which is basically you make a thing blow up if anything gets close to it. Which feels
That
like
one
something.
sounds pretty cool.
I think I'm going to take it because it also feels like a thing that is an accidental blacksmithing thing. It was
You
like,
would have that.
yeah, I was like trying to hammer a thing and then I blew up an anvil because whatever. So Rune of Destruction, this is effort for the day. So again, it's like what this is one a day.
That's
and
what you
done.
get. Yeah.
yeah.
You mark.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm very excited to see that go off at some point. And yeah, I'll look up effort again, but I think it basically, broad strokes means you can't have two of these on at a time at level 1. You can kind of choose one.
Yeah, it says on the character sheet, it says current effort and max effort. So I don't know what calculates that, but it does seem like at some point your effort can go up. You just have a set pool of it.
Yeah, I think it has to do with level, but I will check on that. At any rate, it is now time for all of us to choose our final skill, and then we'll pick our equipment. So pick one skill of your choice to reflect your outside interests, talents, hobbies. I, as your game master, say it can be something you already have. If you'd like to get a 0 up to a 1, now is the time.
Does it say no magic in this thing?
It does not say that.
Okay, I'm gonna take magic then for
I
mine.
think that's a very smart idea. What about the other two?
Can I change convince from a 0 to a 1?
Great. That's great idea.
And I can't make something that's a 1 a 2 because I'm just level 1.
I think that you can, in fact.
I can?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great. Then I'm going to make stab 2.
You are a very dangerous character
We'll talk. Yeah.
because you have +1 strength, right?
I have +1 strength.
Then you have a +1 attack bonus.
Yes.
Then you have if you're
2.
using your stab skill, you have +2. So you have a +4 when you are making to hit rolls.
And then +2 shock.
+2 shock damage. So everybody's got what they like in terms of their final skill.
Yeah.
And that brings us, I believe, to our equipment packages. I think you should just choose a package instead of spending silver, if that's okay, just to speed things up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
If people really hate the starting weapon for their package, I might be convinced to let them switch out a weapon as long as it's not a super premium weapon. And this sort of determines your armor class as well, your gear here. So that's important.
What page is this?
Let me see. Equipment packages. There's one called Adventuring Peasant, Ranger or Archer, Armored Warrior, Roguish Wanderer, Gentry Wayfarer, or Mage, Healer, or Scholar. But for example, Zach, you probably don't want to choose the Mage equipment package
because I can use armor.
Yeah, you can use armor. So you might take something else. What looks good? Oh, by the way, this is on page 29. These packages.
I think mine is pretty clear. I'm going to be an armored warrior. I'm just going to take that package.
Great. Put in that your AC is 14. Oh, I'm sorry. It's going to be 15 if you're carrying your shield. You have a large shield.
Sick.
You start with a short sword that does 1d6 damage It has a shock of 2 against anything that has an armor class lower than 15, but you treat everything,
I treat everything
like
armor class 10.
That's right. And your shock is +2, so you have a shock of +4.
I have +4 shock damage. I'm shocking.
Wow. That is completely shocking. You have a dagger, which is not quite as nasty, but it's, I might say a dagger is necessary in really close quarters or something like that. A backpack and a tinder box with 3 torches. Who else has sort of chosen their equipment package?
Hi, Princess.
I mean, Roguish Wanderer and Gentry Wayfarer are both almost identical in terms of what they give you. They're like...
What is the difference between them?
The difference is one has throwing blades, one's got fine clothing, one has a writing kit.
Oh, yeah, sure, I see this.
But like the actual like fighting equipment, they both have a buff coat, they both have a small shield, they both have a short sword. I don't need throwing blades. I guess I will take... Well, hold on. I'm allowed to wear armor. Let me check this in my class thing that I just chose.
Yeah, I believe there was a limit to the armor class.
It's an encumbrance of 2. But I think the starting equipment of Armored Warrior is just pierced armor, which is encumbrance of 2.
Pieced armor, it is an encumbrance of 2, so you could take Armored Warrior. You're also allowed to carry that shield.
Yeah, that's true. Do you mind if I take... Yeah, that's stupid though. That doesn't feel 100% right.
Look, it's okay to metagame a little bit because these games, BXD&D was in a time before everybody was like full sim and total role playing all the time. So I don't mind if you kind of go, hey, I'm a mage, but I can wear armor, so I'm taking Armored Warrior. If that ruins the fun for you,
it does not.
Then, okay.
Especially because pieced armor, this is like starting equipment. Pieced armor is not like full plate or anything. It's just like, I'm going to say it's protective blacksmith gear. I'm going like big metal heavy apron that he's wearing all the time. I'm going to take Armored Warrior. If it's okay with you, I'm going to swap out that large shield for a small shield just because it doesn't feel right to be carrying around like a knight's shield. I think the AC is the same.
I think so.
Just for our mental picture.
That gives you a nice high AC, which will protect your butt in these situations. Perfect.
Is
now
my AC 15?
I think it is, yeah. Okay. Very high for a mage, but you took armored magic, so you can do it. And now, Edgar, what are you thinking for your package, your equipment package?
Okay, so I have a question about my final skill.
Okay. Yeah.
So I changed my convince from a 0 to a 1.
Uh-huh.
All right, but I'm thinking now, I'm like looking at the ranger equipment, which comes with like a gaggle of arrows. And I'm like, bro, you can't shoot at all. Like, shouldn't I?
Nobody can in this party.
Nobody can.
So I feel like, can I change my convince back to 0 and make shoot a 0?
You can.
Okay, and then I will take the ranger archer.
Yeah, absolutely. So that gives you a buff coat so your armor class will be 12. Your bow does a lot of nice damage. It does 1d8 damage.
But no shock.
Shock.
People see bows and they go,
I got the shotgun lock.
yeah, shotgun lock.
But with that armor
Battle
class
cry.
of 12, you maybe want to stand back a little bit and shoot anyway. You maybe don't want to always get up close unless you're going to cut a throat with that dagger there. You have a dagger that does 1d4 damage. You have a hand axe that does 1d6 damage. Do you have stab skill at all, Edgar?
I do have stab.
Okay, great. So that dagger and hand axe will come in handy. You have the survive skill, and you have cooking utensils and a week of rations and a water skin. You're prepared to go out in the wilderness a little more than these other two.
Bro, that's where I've been.
Tinderbox and 3 torches and 20 silver pieces in cash. That's pretty good.
Whoa, money.
Nobody else has that.
Took that off
No,
the body
nobody
by
else
the
has
black
cash.
sponge.
This sucks. I want to trade all my equipment for cash.
Can we have the shopping episode? Everybody loves those.
A naked mage like, hey, I got money though.
I got money though. You see a naked mage with a bunch of money, you're like, they're about to ask for something freaky and bad. They're buying experiences, and I don't like it.
It's not good for anybody but them.
It's not good.
Come on, baby. I'll turn these eyeballs on for you.
Nobody took the naked mage focus, right?
No, I didn't. I wanted to.
In order to do magic, you must be fully naked. I'm talking
Absolutely.
everything.
Everything.
Unencumbered.
And no
Yeah.
body hair.
Yeah, you must remove your body hair in a ritual. Okay, let's move on. Nobody took that one. All right. So if everybody has their equipment and has carefully recorded it onto their sheet.
Oh, not
by
at
the way,
all.
if you don't, I can always look back at the page to find it out. But if you can, record it onto your sheet. Equipment is a little bit more important sometimes because survival and things come into play in this game. I think
That's stowed. This is stowed items, right? I guess.
some of them can be in your stowed items and some can be in your readied items. Like if you think, I always carry around my shield, then I would put that in readied items.
I have a question. Can I trade either the sword or dagger or both for a hammer?
Yeah,
the
that makes
little
sense.
one,
You're a
not a-
blacksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a fighting hammer. I don't think I'll ever hit anyone with it. I just want to have it.
You know what? Let's call it. Let's see. I have the whole weapon sheet here, and let's see what your options are in terms of a hammer.
There's only one that's not two-handed, I think.
Hammer, great. Hammer, war. Nah, we don't want any of those. I guess it will have to be a sort of just tool. Is that okay?
Yeah, there was one. What page is that on?
I'm looking at page 37, where it lists all of the stabbing weapons and includes the shooting. It has all of the weapons. The shooting weapons.
Hammer, comma, war. I don't know why it's called that, but it's just a 1d8 one-handed hammer, right?
Is it? It's one-handed, so yeah. But what are you trading it out for?
Every other weapon in that package.
Every other weapon. Oh, really? So you're going to get rid of the short sword and the dagger and take the hammer?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have skills to use any of these things.
Take it. No problem.
Thanks.
Big
I'm
hammer.
thinking of this as a blacksmith hammer that is not actually for fighting, but I do want.
You see the authority with which I made that call.
It was
you know
really
what?
good.
Take it.
Take it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The world is yours.
I feel like a shark from Shark Tank. Okay.
I'm
For
out.
that reason.
For that
I'm in.
reason, I'm in on the hammer.
Ooh, on the hammer.
Okay. Guys, now the most important part of character creation. What is your character's name?
Yeah.
And if you want right now, give a little description of them. Because we've done all the character creation, but we haven't really talked about who they are. So let's start with Edgar. Edgar, can you tell us your character's name and tell us a little bit about he, she, him, they?
My character's name is Jazz. And,
Jazz.
Jazz, also known as Jazz of the Underlands, and Jazz, but now known as Jazz the Exile.
Oh, I love it.
Jazz was a warrior from his village and was driven out by the king's son. So the king died, and his little punk ass son decided that Jazz couldn't be around because people like Jazz. So framed Jazz for a crime he didn't commit. Jazz has spent all of these years in exile. A warrior without a kingdom. Just a guy who's been out here on the streets making it known that he's just trying to stay alive, which is why he's like so good at convincing people of stuff. And as an exile, he decides to no longer, fight people straight up. So he just sneaks around and stabs people in the night.
Great. I love Jazz. I think that possibly Jazz comes from, the Underlands are really interesting. I wonder what that means. I think that we're going to use the default setting of the game. So maybe he comes from Lagos, where there's a lot of little petty kingdoms and chieftains and bandit leaders who have become kings of their little kind of area that they've cut off from the rest of the place. So maybe he comes from that sort of barbarous land and finds himself now in the country of New Voth, New Voth, which I will describe a little bit more in detail in a minute. But right now, I want to know about our warrior. What is our warrior's name?
Okay. Her name is Rotilda. Rotilda of, she doesn't have a last name because she's Rotilda of, I don't know where I'm from yet because I don't know the world as super well.
That's okay. We can talk about it.
Yeah. So she comes from a noble family, born to a noble family. But it became very obvious from a very young age that she was different, in that she was capable of extreme violence. She's not a violent person. She's actually kind of just like, here's the thing. She's a horse girl. Mm-hmm. She didn't have any friends, so she'd hang out in the stables, with her horse, Leonard, and they're best friends, and her violence, was a little preternatural and frightening. So she was unneeded. She was a spare scion, was not, was a girl. And I maybe think this family valued male heirs. And so they quietly banished her and said, you got to get out, you freaky little weirdo. We don't want you in our kingdom anymore. And so she went off with her horse, and she's just trying to find a place to be peaceful and safe.
I think there's a lot of are you envisioning a background where there's a lot of royalty and nobility?
Yeah.
So I think,
but she's like a secret scion, like an embarrassment. So they hid her from a very young age.
Right, and that's why she's had to, travel the world and kind of go off on her own, right?
Yeah, but it hasn't been that long. I still picture her to be pretty young, which is why I think my attributes it still makes sense that most of my attributes are pretty low. I don't think I've been on the road for very long.
I think that probably you come from a country that is very monarchical, that has many different vassal dukes and barons, and that is the nation of Emedkist.
Emedkist.
Yes, which is just to the south of the area we'll be adventuring in. Mm-hmm. I love Rotilda and her horse Leonard.
Yeah.
Is Leonard still with her?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
A horse wasn't in your equipment package?
Okay, maybe I,
Guess
sure.
what, though? I'm like basically the nicest game master ever.
This is going to come back to bite us in the ass.
Oh, no.
This horse is going to be a sort of being of dark magic that's going to kill us all in the night. We're only going to have
You get a horse.
Leonard!
Leonard is yours.
Okay, I'm going to tell you some metagame. Oh, thank you so much. So the metagame is I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, and I was inspired by Radon, the Scarscourge. You know the lore behind his tiny little horse?
On his tiny horse. So he learns gravity magic so that he can ride it, even though he's so big.
He learned gravity magic so that he could still ride his beloved horse, even though he turned into this giant monster of a man, and his mind melted into madness, but he still took care of his beloved horse Leonard, and I just found that really inspiring. So it's very loosely where this came from. So that's my horse Leonard.
So is your horse kind of small?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't think he's small. Maybe he's just fine boned.
Just
think
horse
about
size.
Leonard. Think about Leonard and give us a full description when you're ready. Later,
Okay.
while we're adventuring.
Okay.
Finally, we have Rotilda. We have Jazz. Jazz on the run. From the son of the king who framed him? Did he frame him? Or did he just run him out of town?
He framed me. He sent me to assassinate someone, but it was a trap.
Oh, I love it. Okay, great. And now I finally want to know about our mage. What is the name? And we know a lot about the background, but you can fill in any holes there, Zach.
The mage's name is Corby.
Corby! Hi, buddy!
Corby was adopted. Corby was found in a quarry as an infant and was adopted
quarry
by
baby?
us. He was a quarry baby. He's Corby.
Corby.
He was adopted by the local blacksmith woman, raised him, and he very much wanted to be a blacksmith in sort of her tradition. And so he studied under her, and he was practicing, and is just like, it does not work for him. So he is setting out to learn magic so that he can be a competent blacksmith.
Excellent. And
he can be from any place that sounds good to you. It could be where, yeah.
I think that maybe he is from the nation we are starting in, and that nation is called New Voth. And New Voth is a republic. It has a senate. Of course, the senate is run by the richest, most moneyed and influential citizens of the nation. But you guys are going to be starting your adventure very far from the capital of Clarum, and where the Senate is seated. Instead, you're going to be out on the frontier, the southern frontier, the border with Rotilda's nation of Emed Kist. On that border, there are mountains, and there's a vast forest. And you have arrived in your wanderings. By the way, you're all already friends. You've all already thrown in with each other. Maybe we'll hear a little bit about how that happened. Feel free to tell me or give me some background on that. But you all have thrown in with each other to make your fortunes, to find adventure, to learn magic, to become a hero so that perhaps you can return to the place that rejected you, Rotilda or Jazz. You can kind of tell me what you think your motivation is as we role play. But you have arrived at the small town of Edgewood Station. Edgewood Station is on the northern edge of a vast southern forest in New Voth. And Edgewood Station is a company town. You see that the town looks like it was built in the last year. Nothing here is old. It's all made of wood, and all of the wood is like really fresh. Looks like it was freshly cut. You even as you I don't know, it looks like Rotilda's the only one riding in. Maybe Jazz or Corby are on the horse as well.
I mean, if it's anyone, it's Jazz. Corby is walking behind the horse for sure.
Yeah.
You can hop on, Jazz, if you want. There's plenty of room, but
thank you so much.
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, if you feel comfortable.
I'd love a ride. I've been on my feet for what seems like.
Are we supposed to call you my lord, or what are you comfortable with? My lord?
Please, you don't have to call me that. That's my dad. Oh, you don't have to call me my lord. Nobody's ever called me anything, actually. They call me just like, you, girl. So you could call me Rotilda. That'd be like pretty nice. I think I'd like that.
All right.
Yes. So you're having this conversation about titles and how to address each other as you walk into this town. And as I was saying, it looks like it's all recently built, and you even see people cutting trees to build more of it as you watch. And there are a bunch of logos that have been kind of painted onto the side of some of the buildings that announce the entire place as property of the Angrabedu Company. You see that there seems to be sort of an encampment. Instead of just domiciles, instead of little houses and cottages, there's like a big fenced-in sort of encampment where people live in little tract houses that have been hastily put together. And then there's sort of a main thoroughfare with businesses for them to frequent, places to perhaps buy food and dry goods, and that is sort of surrounding the encampment. They're dotted around these little businesses, and then they kind of form into a big main drag, a big main street that kind of sits in front of the encampment. And so as you ride in, you're looking for adventure. Maybe right now it would be a good time to tell me what you think you're looking for. And then we can kind of try to go and find it. But I'm really trying to run this game in a sandbox style, meaning although I have designed many note cards full of adventure here, I don't know what you're going to do, and I'm going to let you explore it at your leisure. So I hand it over to the players. What are we looking for, and where do we want to find it?
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I was just thinking that maybe we could make just I'm just looking to make some money, so I can feed Leonard, and you know, I don't really have much goals other than that. Just make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And unless I'll put this out to you, unless you are our friend Jazz, who has 20 silver pieces according to his equipment package, I will allow both Corby and Rotilda to roll a d6, and that's how many silver they have.
Well, I don't know about you. I've got a silver, so that's pretty good.
I got 3 silver. I got 3 silver. You got one? You got one
I have
silver?
a whole. Yeah, no, I got a silver. Don't even worry about it. And if we wanted, we could even break it up into 10 copper, and that would be. We could it would feel like we have a lot more. Yeah, this town seems pretty new. Yeah.
I mean, construction is a good sign of upward mobility. That's what my tutors used to say.
Sometimes, though, it's a sign of this whole town burned down very recently, and they had to build it all again. Normally, in my town, when we saw buildings like this, it was because I tried to do burn down a building, and this is what buildings look like when you have to build them again.
Yeah, that's what they do.
That
They
makes
do.
sense.
They come burn down your town, and they tell you they'll fix it for you.
Oh, that seems really smart. It would work for them pretty well, though.
If you were the person building it, that'd be a pretty good racket. I guess that's
What
a
about the
service we could
people?
offer. Yeah, it's not good for the people.
No, it doesn't sound good at all.
I think if you are truly from the nation of Lagos, Jazz, you've definitely seen plenty of towns get burnt to the ground by conquerors.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing happens there a lot.
A little money changes hands, and people turn their backs on the very people they're supposed to be protecting.
That sounds
I
bad.
hate places like this, man.
Yeah, let's
Feel
leave.
itchy.
Let's turn around. Let's get out of here. Wasn't
Okay.
that? Unless you guys want to stay.
No, it's a sandbox campaign. You can totally leave right now.
Corby, is there, as much as I detest places like this,
Yeah, let's stay.
it's still very new, and the fangs of greed have yet to truly sink their teeth into these people.
Oh. I wonder if
Maybe
anyone-
we could take advantage of that.
What are you suggesting?
Maybe get some coin ourselves.
You're
I
saying
don't know.
maybe we could burn it down and then tell them that we'll build it back up.
I mean, if you guys want to,
always
that's
that.
Don't
not
think
what
I
I
do.
was
Is
thinking.
that what you were suggesting?
No, I was just thinking that somebody here has a lot of coin, right? There's a lot of materials flowing around. And there's a
yeah,
lot
maybe
of
they just need
construction.
help. Maybe
Really
maybe we just help for a bit.
Maybe they've got a
Alright.
job for us.
Maybe they have-
I don't know. I didn't want to put ideas on you guys or anything like that. I don't want to.
No.
I don't know. Maybe we would be kind of good. We could ask around. I don't know.
You're very this is not a judgment, Rotilda. Most of the nobles that I have met are a little bit more sure of themselves, confident, I guess.
Sure.
They come into town, they're like, wow, knock down your house and build me a well. That's the sort of things that they would say. Whereas
Yeah,
you're
for
deferring to
You
us.
sound just like my dad. That was crazy.
Sure.
It was he was here.
But I'm not super good at being the one in charge, so I
Okay.
feel like it's gotta one of you.
Okay. Yeah, I could totally be in charge.
Sure.
Yeah. That's something
should-
that might.
We should find someone,
We,
don't you think?
Yeah, we should find someone. And it could be me. It could be me. I'll be in charge.
Yeah.
It's definitely you.
It's because
I want to be clear that
'cause
Rotilda is 6'2", and thick, banded natural muscle. She is a strong,
no reason to be as scared as she is.
big girl. Yeah, she is
She does 4 shock damage. Why isn't she confident?
because her family was very mean.
Disowned her. She's got mental damage.
Yeah.
We've got a real Brienne of Tarth
I was
situation
about to
here.
say, it's
Exactly,
like a more
this is
scared
very-
Brienne of Tarth.
This is very Brienne of Tarth. She's got blonde hair cut in a bowl cut, like a Lord Farquaad sort of cut, and she's a large. She's strong, and but she's been in a dark room for most of her life.
Well, she's getting looks from the villagers. You guys have now moved into the town center, such as it is. It's pretty small. And Leonard is, a hoof deep in mud because the road here hasn't been properly finished or cobbled. And there are people on other very beautiful horses that you might notice, Horse Girl, riding by. Many of them look like they are in workers' attire. It looks like everybody works for the company here, and they wear kind of like a big rubber dungaree kind of a situation, like an overalls thing. Some of them are wearing gloves from their job, and people are going in and out of two places. There looks to be some sort of general store. The general store has just Angrabetto, the name of the company, kind of stenciled on the front of it. And then there is a place across the way from that place that announces itself as Gorik's Game House. And there is music emanating from the front door of Gorik's Game House.
Oh, I like music. Sometimes I could hear it through the walls when my family would play music and have parties.
You were just like at the party?
Oh, no. I was not invited. I was expressly locked in my room for those parties. But I did get to hear wafting on the wind sounds of merriment and music making. And it sounded like a great time, so...
I mean, unless Jazz is worried that someone's going to, like, recognize him in there, I'd say let's go check that out, right?
Yeah, what do you want to do, Jazz? I mean, I am the leader. We did establish that, but what do you want to do, Jazz?
You know what? I've been in a million places. I'm faceless. Nobody knows me.
That's so cool.
He's so cool when he says stuff
so
like
cool.
that. I'm
He's
like,
so
why is there a million faces?
He's faceless. He's got so many faces. He's got no face.
I would say let's go look for work here, but like local work unions or whatever tend to be like pretty, we don't want to hire you. You blew up all of our equipment. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So let's check out
Sounds like a very personal story.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it could happen to anyone. Did it happen to me? Yeah.
Sure.
How many times? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
every town I've been to until I met the two of you. I feel like if I couldn't get a job as like a blacksmith assistant because I'm not good at it, then I got to learn skills other places. So maybe there'll be some work in Garrick's Game House or Gatric's Game House. I'm pretty good at reading. What does it say?
Gorik's Game House.
Yeah, Gortric's Gat House. Let's go in there.
All right.
You enter through saloon-style doors. You know, those little... Yeah, exactly. And immediately going in, you notice a large bar on one side with tables and people sitting and drinking. It is morning, but maybe they're catering to the people that were working all night or something like that, because there are men in there drinking, some of them in the work clothes you saw earlier, and a bartender manning the bar. That's on to your right. On the left side, you see all kinds of gaming tables. And it's not just casino style games. There's also things that look like Othello, or Star Trek chess, where there's like 4 levels of chess. All kinds of great fantasy board games and games that people are betting on, card games. That's not quite as busy as the drinking to the other side right now. There are only a few people engaged in several different games. And then there are stairs on the back wall that lead up into suites of rooms. You can see the balcony of above the stairs, and you can see that there's many doors up there.
I mean, I got 1 silver burning a hole in my pocket. I feel like I could turn this into a lot more money.
I think you should go for it, buddy.
Particularly, this has only just occurred to me, and I've never thought to do this before because it's immoral. But I think if I wanted to, we could seriously cheat at some of these games.
Oh, for sure.
Any of the games involving other people having cards, we could absolutely cheat at.
Because of the candles on the wall and
There's
the sconces.
so many candles on these walls. I got clear views of everyone's cards. If we needed to steal a lot of money from these people we've just met, who seem to be like hardworking people and probably don't deserve it.
I love having that option. If we also wanted to make a lot of money, I would not recommend that I do any arm wrestling because I would make a lot of money fast, but things would go very, very wrong very quickly, and we would probably get run out of town.
Well, I think
So I would not recommend it.
We all wanted like a job, right? Like,
Yeah,
we should.
we're upstanding members of wandering society.
And if society
should,
hits us so hard that we break bad, then that happens. But that hasn't happened yet to me. I mean, Jazz, you've been pretty wronged. It seems pretty thoroughly.
Yeah. The world is full of hatred, my friends. What side of it are we gonna be on? Let's find this Goric guy. It's his game house.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some work that he could have for us here. We've already found 3 problems. Not enough places to gamble. Any basic mage could come in here and rob him blind, and I don't see any security. Like, what happens if someone like Rotilda comes in here and gets out of line? Who stops that person? This is a lot of holes.
We have a lot of consulting that I feel like we could do on this establishment. I think we offer an interesting perspective that an owner of a game house would feel was very valuable to them.
You guys have convinced me.
I look around to see if, and it looks like, I guess I would approach the bar, right, to see if it looks like there's someone in charge.
You have choices. I mean, neither of them perhaps look in charge. There is a bartender and there is a beautiful barmaid who is moving about, and she seems very busy with the drinkers here at 10 a.m. in the morning. And then the bartender is a skinny man. He looks like he's all skin and bones and has a very bald pate. And he's moving quickly too. Really looks to know his business. So who would you like to talk to? The bartender?
Yeah, because she's busy, right?
They both are, but it's his job to deal with customers. So you saddle up to the bar and he says, "What do you have?"
We were one. Is Goric around?
Goric, well, he's generally out unless he has a really good reason to see you.
Oh, okay. So where is he then?
He'd be upstairs in the office, but
okay.
I have to announce you. He's the nobility around here, or at least in this house. So who, might I ask, is calling on him?
Lady Rotilda.
We're just a bunch of traveling.
I don't have a last name.
We're looking for work. We were hoping that he could give us some.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that Goric has anything for you. Let me go and talk to him. Emra, tend the bar. And the man, the bartender, walks upstairs, and the barmaid, Emra, is kind of walks over and is like, she's got a long raven hair, and she says, "Did you want a drink while you wait?"
How much are drinks? That's a question for you, the GM, because I feel Corby has a skill in trade. He knows how much things are.
Half a silver for the small beer, but anything stronger is a whole silver.
How would you feel about taking all of the money I own?
Well, that's something that happens around here quite a lot. And she looks over kind of at the gaming people.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't really have a gambling problem. I just have one silver piece. But yeah, you can have it.
You're outsiders. You're not here to work for Angrabedu.
Oh, no. Is everyone here work for Angrabedu?
What do they do? What do we do? Could we do it too?
Do you have any skill in silk farming?
No. Silk farming?
No.
Yes.
Like from bugs?
Yes, those fellows there are worm tenders.
Okay, gross.
She points at some guys, and then she goes, and then those gentlemen, I believe, are involved in boiling the silk.
Mm-hmm. Gross also. Yeah, I turn around and I look at Jazz and Rotilda and I go, This place is a bug farm. This is a big bug farm where they farm bugs and they make.
I did have some worms that lived in my mattress, and they lived for a really long time and grew very fat and healthy. So,
Hilda, I'm not gonna lie. I hate that. The thing that you just said, I hate it a lot.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. I will never say it again.
I slept on hay, and that's better than what you just described.
Sounds nice.
Hey.
Who has summoned Gorik, the games master?
Hell yeah. Are there candles in this room?
They use lanterns, and there are windows that let in light, so they don't have the lanterns lit right now.
Great. They're all lit now. And I pick up.
Oh, are you making them light?
Yeah. This is for no reason. This solves no problem. They just light up.
You know what? Normally, a use of your, what is that called? Elemental spark would only light one lantern. But if you make a magic roll right now, I'll allow you to light all of the lanterns.
Yeah, sure.
And
why not?
I will allow you to make that roll at a difficulty of 8.
And that's
so
what do I roll?
2d6, and then add your intelligence modifier and your magic skill.
That's going to be close. That's a roll of 5, magic of 1. That's 6. Intelligence modifier of 1. Boop. Just 1.
7.
Or maybe even none. Maybe none of the lamps go on.
No, one of them do. So you're like, hello, and you go like this, and one lamp goes, womp, womp, womp.
It's behind him. No one notices.
I notice, and I go, wow.
It is I, Corby, introducing the Lady Rotilda.
Hi.
And Jazz, a man of no name and no face, who you do not know.
How does he not have a name? You just gave his name as Jazz.
No one shall know him, for he is nameless and faceless. And I go, and I back up.
Hi.
Hello. How can I help you? I understand you're looking for work.
Well, yeah, and there's so many things we can do. I have a horse. Jazz is real nimble. Corby can do some stuff sometimes. And we were thinking that maybe you could give us some money for that. If you had a problem, we will figure out a way to fix it.
We're still working on the name of our group, but we're sort of a collective that solves problems.
He turns to Jazz and says, and you, sir, you're with these two? And he sort of strokes his mustache.
Well, yes, of course I as a traveler, I wouldn't be able to make it without the aid of my companions. And now here we are. Looking at you, we look around this place, man, and I gotta be honest with you. You got a nice place here. But I've seen weaknesses in your structure. You know, that's what we do. We find where things are broken and we offer to fix them.
We should let Jazz. We absolutely. Why are we talking?
He's so good at
let him talk.
Well, I'm afraid I don't have any work for you right now, but who knows what could happen in Gorik's game house? Opportunities are around every corner and beneath every stool. Stay, play a while, have a couple drinks, and pretty soon you'll make fast friends with some of the workers who might be able to tell you about opportunities in town.
Oh, I would love to make some friends. I do think your mustache is really nice, Mr.
Gorik.
Mr. Gorik.
I am sorry to interrupt, my lady.
Oh, you go ahead, buddy. No problem.
As you can see, I work at the behest of a great warrior, and I only come here to ask of help so that we could find a way for her skills to be truly plied. Would you join us for a drink, Mr. Gorik?
I generally don't drink. I'm the one that sells the drinks. But if you were to make a convince roll, why, you might get him to have a drink with you and let loose a little more information.
I talk to my daddy what I gotta roll, how I gotta roll it.
You're going to roll 2d6, and you're going to add your charisma bonus, which I believe was 0 for you. Is that right? Or did you get it up to a +1? Oh, you got it to a +1.
Yeah, that was the one you chose to be 14, right?
Yeah.
Yes, my charisma is a +1.
Okay, and then you have, I believe, a convince skill of 0, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you won't add anything, but you're not taking any kind of negative modifier. So roll 2d6 and add +1, and this guy's pretty savvy, so it is a difficulty of 8.
Okay. I rolled an 11.
That's great.
+1 would be 12.
That's
Why did you
excellent.
react like that was so bad? That's
No,
more than-
I just was like, I couldn't believe that it worked.
Yeah, that was amazing. Your first roll, your first like skill check, and it's
I was really
oh,
like,
gosh.
can't believe it. Really just waiting for this dude to be like, go mind your business.
I would look at your diplomatic, what was it called? That
Affinity
focus
or-
you had, diplomatic affinity, because that probably also might have given you a bonus there, but you didn't need it. So we will go ahead and say that Gorik goes, well, we don't often get people of quality in here. Generally just deal with a bunch of tired silk workers. Why, come on over to the bar. And Emra, girl, 3 whiskeys, 4. I'll join you.
Wow.
I can't
Thank
afford.
you so much. It's an honor.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've never had whiskey before.
She's a strange girl, that Emra.
What's her deal? She's so nice looking. All
she's-
her features are the same on both sides.
Yeah, she's too pretty. Is that her problem?
Very beautiful. That's why I employ her here. She always have a beautiful person out front. That was part of the business acumen I was taught when I was apprenticed. I am from the barbarian kingdoms of Lagos, but early in my childhood I was taught letters and civilized manners, and eventually came to inherit this establishment. But I digress. You are looking for work, and alas, although I will enjoy having a drink with civilized people who can carry on a discussion, I do not have any work for you.
That's really too bad.
I can tell you, though, that I believe the silk workers have some sort of problem.
Is it with the worms?
Is it a bug problem?
Is it the bug thing?
Is it the problem that every day they deal with bugs?
Well,
Sounds pretty bad.
It's depression.
I agree. It is not an occupation that I would choose to take on myself. I do not have any love for insectoids, but I believe that they've been having some sort of setbacks in their farming lately. Something is going wrong with the silk farm, and it's caused quite an uproar around here.
Can I ask a follow-up question to a thing you offhandedly said before?
Sure.
Why is the when you say that Emra is strange, it doesn't say strange to me. What's strange about her?
Well, she's an outsider like you. She wandered into town, and people say she came out of the woods. No one knows much about her, and she never shares her background or can even tell us where she's from. A lot of the workers, they don't like her much. They consider her to be a witch or something worse.
Okay. Now, I actually have to leave this conversation for a while, unless you guys need to keep talking, in which case I will stay, offer support. Now, I'm pretty sure that the problem that all the silk workers are having is that there's some bigger bug that's making all the small bugs bad.
Angry.
And I don't want to deal with the bigger bug.
No, I kind of want to look at the pretty girl some more. I mean, only if you guys I'd be interested in solving that mystery. If you guys want.
But also, we're having such civilized conversation, so that's also good. We could keep doing that.
This is new for me.
Well, I mean, Let's find out what this outsider knows.
Outsiders tend to treat other outsiders better. Maybe she'll know something that these other people don't. I think we should talk to the prettiest lady I've ever seen. For sure, definitely.
Okay. Great Gorek, we thank you for your hospitality.
Thank you so much, Mustache Man.
We don't want to take up too much more of your time. It's very rude.
Play some games.
Oh,
let's make it a
totally.
party.
I'll play with everything I'm worth. I
party?
go over to what's the closest gambling table?
It is some kind of weird roulette thing.
Yeah.
With different, instead of red and black and numbers, it has different like painted pictures, like trees and unicorns.
I'm gonna put it all on bugs, baby.
Yes,
Put it on bugs. Put it on bugs.
You guys like bugs around here, right? Yeah. Here's everything I own.
I'll throw
Instead
2 pieces of silver onto trees.
Okay, great. Let's see how that goes. I guess I'll. I mean,
Yeah,
you don't.
roll
There's no
your
such thing
roulette
as
wheel
a
of
gambling
pictures.
skill, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say
There's luck, right?
But there are luck saves.
Oh, there are luck saves, aren't there?
It's not a skill, but there's luck.
And that is a very important part of character creation that I did not go into. What are your
really?
saves? Yeah, you guys all have saves. And what is your luck save?
Mine all say 20. Is that weird?
It's super weird.
Mine says
but
20.
we gotta
Don't
go
even
with it.
try it.
It's a
No
little
chance,
weird.
Jared.
It's a little weird.
And the last one is just a big middle finger. It's very strange. You'll never.
Saves, I think saves start at 14, but they can go down.
Mine says 16 minus your level
wow, look at you.
strength
Thank
con
you so
modifier.
much.
minus your modifiers.
Okay, so
No, 16 minus your level. Does that say minus?
I think
minus
it
your
says-
level. So
and then minus your modifier.
Oh, is
minus your modifier.
low good for a save?
Yes, it is. You're trying
Okay,
to roll at or above a save. And but luck save doesn't have a modifier based on an attribute. It is just 16 minus your level. So
15.
Jazz, please roll. Just you're gonna roll a d20 and you're gonna try to get 15 or above.
Jesus.
And you, how many silver did you put down on trees?
Dose.
Okay,
I put 1 on bugs.
you were out of silver if I recall.
Oh, did
am I trying
to do?
I give it to that lady?
Oh.
I couldn't remember.
Wait, no, you didn't. You guys got free drinks. Okay, you got
yeah.
1 on bugs. Great.
1 on bugs,
Okay.
1 on bugs, 2 on
So
trees.
both of you roll a d20 and try to get 15 or above.
I got 13.
I got 13.
All right, both of you lose. You lose your silver. There aren't even like what do you call it, croupiers or people operating it. It's just like people just take turns, and then the money goes into this common pot that someone can win when they finally win it. So a couple silk workers are kind of playing it with you, but you have lost that money, and please remove it from the sheet.
Not a problem. Never
brutal.
put it down.
Emra comes
gambling
over
is
and
not
asks you if
fun,
you have
I've
an order
decided.
that you'd like to give her.
Oh no, I have absolutely no money. Do you know magic?
Magic. And she thinks for a long time, and then she goes, I don't think so.
See, that's so interesting because normally people know right off the bat if they
like
do
either
or they
yes
don't.
or a no. For me, it's like for sure no.
And for me, it's for sure kind of. So I feel like you're in a for sure kind of scenario if you're not sure.
Do magical things happen around you all the time?
Aside from the fact that your hair is like very pretty. But I
You're
feel like
shining.
that might not
you
be
shine
magic,
in the sun,
right?
and it looks like your skin is like lit from within.
I feel like we had a
I
conversation
thank you
about
for your
who should-
compliments, milady.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're welcome.
I don't remember a lot of my upbringing. Sometimes when people ask me questions, I start to answer and then realize that, well, I don't remember.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's
the
a
past
curse.
is best forgotten.
Yes,
But
I'm
they-
trying to move forward.
They tell us you came from the woods near the border of Nuvoth and Emmett Kist.
She drops a drink. And then she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry," and starts to clean it up. But as she's cleaning it up, you see her look out the doors of Gorik's game house, and looking out at the direction she's looking, you see the vast forest towering over the entire town. The verdant greenery seems to enclose the entire little dwelling and dwarf it so that the works of man seem paltry in comparison to the great elemental might of the forest.
Well,
Seems pretty scary out there.
Seems pretty big. But
It's a big forest.
seems better than a bunch of worm fields, if I'm being fully honest.
Yeah, why do you stay here if they're not really nice to you?
Some of them are kind. I stay here because I keep thinking that one day I will go back into the wood and I will discover where it is I come from.
Oh, well, maybe we can help with that.
Yeah, totally. We could do that with you. Maybe you'll help in a little bit.
Are you in the position to hire someone to go sort of do a fact-finding mission for you?
I have very little silver saved. I could offer, but it does matter a lot to me to discover some of these secrets. I'm afraid I'm no good traveling, no good fighting or dealing with wild beasts.
Well, that's okay, because I'm really good at that. So you could just, like, stay here, and we could, like, I don't know, like, find stuff out and, like, bring it back to you, and you could smile, and the sun would shine on your face.
Hey,
and
Matilda, I don't think you're supposed to tell people
supposed to say that. Got it.
Well,
I'm afraid I could only offer 5 silver to each of you for going into the woods and
that's
perhaps discovering clues as to my origin.
That would be 5 times as much money as I've ever.
That's
had.
more than double what I've got now. So I mean, yeah, we're sort of, you know, we're like at the point in our business where we're just we're building a repertoire and a clientele base and a reputation.
It's worth it just for the reviews.
Good reviews are really important to us. So yeah.
So point us to these. I mean, these are the woods, but like where?
But any clues?
The edge of the woods is used for the silk farm, but if you go deeper,
Past
they
the bugs.
say there are many things out among the trees, old ruins, perhaps a deep.
Yeah, I imagine there's many things in the woods. Cool.
Jazz, what's up?
You did a big sigh.
I'm sorry. Just any talk of a deep, it just
Every
triggers
time
something.
somebody mentions the deep, yeah, you get really cloudy, like your face, like as if
It's honestly
as
so
if
captivating, and I know
it's
that you
really
don't want us to
amazing.
ask more questions about it, but the second you do
please.
it, all I want to do is know, what did this guy see in the deep?
let's not
Yeah.
ask questions.
Deeps are like
Let's-
dungeons, right?
And that's when a worker enters and shouts at his companions, "Well, that's another one dead." And other silk workers run up to him and he goes, "They found Liam laying on the ground under the trees in the farm. His throat ripped out, claw marks all over his body. Another one of us has fallen to whatever it is out in these woods. And I, for one, am working for this operation no longer." And he throws off his gloves, walks up to the bar and goes, "Give me a stiff drink. I'll have one before I leave town."
You guys, I just had a good idea, and I don't have these often. So listen up. I think we could solve 2 problems at once. What if whoever is the big boss of this company, we say we'll go out there in these woods and we'll kill that big scary thing, and then at the same time we can solve the mystery of the prettiest girl I've ever seen.
That's great, because if we're going into the woods, I definitely would first like to take care of the thing that is killing the people that is coming from the woods.
And we can get money for that. They give you money for that, right?
Yeah, I don't think they want, I mean, like, if they had a strike, all these workers just left town, this company would be in hot water.
So they probably pay us a pretty penny. Do pennies? What's a penny? I don't know, but I've heard people say
10
that.
pennies will give you a silver. That's as much money as I've ever had.
Yeah.
Well, then I bet they'll think about helping us out with some money if we do help them out with killing stuff.
Sure.
I don't know. Was that a good idea, you guys? I've never really known. I've never really
It's a
gotten any
fantastic
feedback.
idea.
It's a good idea, yeah.
That's a good idea?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh,
be
wow.
confident in yourself. It's a good
All
idea.
right. Okay, cool. Yeah.
The kind of idea a leader would have.
Oh my God, Jazz, you're so
leaderish
right.
idea.
Wow. Thank you, guys. I am a leader. I'm a leader. I can lead us. I know it.
Somewhere out in the woods, something moves through the ferns and the undergrowth, the decaying leaves that have fallen in layers upon layers. It moves on soft, padded feet. Its senses take in heat and every movement of bugs or small creatures that move underfoot. And it growls softly as it looks to the edge of the forest where workers stand over a body. And that is where we are going to leave the adventure for today. We will be back next week as our party deals with whatever this is and
Into the
explores the forest. We are going to go into the woods probably next time, unless they want to just spend the whole time negotiating for more silver, which is completely possible.
Yeah.
I hope it's a kitty cat.
It's a good thing we didn't win any of those gambling rolls. We would have never left.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they'll just get enough silver to keep gambling. Who knows? But for now, I will say thank you to my incredible players and good night, Mary Lou, Zach Reino, and Edgar Blackmon. Google them. Find out all about them. Send them messages telling them how much you love them because I've loved having them. This is the Game Garage on the Glass Cannon Network saying good night.
Night.
Good night.